I have heard the Arakan Army has total control of Myanmar-Bangladesh border and has conquered vast chunks of territory in the Rakhine state. Something interesting brewing in our neighborhood. Do you think it's our doing, or we're just spectators again? Yes, thank you, Shubhankar. And Mudgal C. Miss says, we have recently seen the Arakan Army being rumored of having captured about 270 square kilometers of Bangladeshi territory. We also know that China and the US are the main funders of the Arakan Army, and we are also aware of the fact that these people were highly pro-India pre-98 when we had their leaders arrested in Andaman and Nicobar. Could India be behind this, especially since we have seen Mr. Dowal visiting China? Could it perhaps be that India, through the raw, has decided to get its hands dirty in the matter? Or are we going to keep up our highly timid foreign policy? Um, I have my doubts about the Arakan Army since the US and China won the Chittagong region. Won't these guys give the captured land to the highest bidder, like the US or maybe China? Okay, a whole bunch of questions are being asked over here. Okay, first of all, what is this Arakan Army? Is it being funded by the US and China both? Look, the US and China are not nations that cooperate in geopolitics. They are adversaries in geopolitics. So it's doesn't make sense for the US and China to fund the same force. Doesn't make sense at all. So when it comes to the Arakan Army, um, it's an ethno-nationalist group based in the Arakan province of Burma, the Rakhine province. Let's go to the map since we are discussing this matter. Let's put the map on the screen. Where's the map? Here is the map. So we're talking about our neighborhood east of India. We're talking about Myanmar. So let's quickly look at the extent of the Rakhine state. Myanmar, how large is it? So here we have the region that is shaded in red, that's outlined in red, is the Arakan region, the Rakhine region. As you can see, a significant portion of the Burma Bangladesh border uh, adjoins the Arakan state. So the Arakan Army is an ethno-nationalist group that is based out of the Rakhine state. There's another group which is called the ARSA, which is a Rohingya organization. It's a terrorist group that has been murdering Hindus and Buddhists and all that. They're also based out of the Rakhine state. Now, the Arakan Army, it's uh, it's composed of people who are actually Arakanese in ethnicity. They are Buddhists. They are not Rohingyas. So the Rohingya ARSA group and the Arakan Army, they are at loggerheads. They are adversaries. And the Rohingyas, one could imagine, if one looks at it properly, they could probably be on the payroll of the West, similar to the various cookie terrorist groups, etc., and insurgent groups and so on that operate in this region. Um, so the Arakan Army is has in the past been closely aligned with China. Okay, and they are Buddhists. Their adversaries are the Rohingyas. Their adversaries, you could say, eh, are the West, directly or indirectly. Now, let's take a look at the last question over here. Um, since the US and China want the Chittagong region, etc., would won't these guys give the captured land to the highest bidder? First of all, the Arakan Army has not taken over Chittagong, the Chattogram region, the Cox's Bazar region. They have not taken it over. They have simply established control of the border, and they have nibbled away at some small parts of Bangladeshi territory, like Tiknaf, etc. But historically, some of this could have been part of the Arakan region. And why would they give up their own land to foreigners who are bidding for it? You see, when a terrorist group or an insurgent group captures territory that is not there is which is not its own ancestral homeland, then they'll be okay to give it up to the highest bidder, to sell it to the highest bidder. But when you're defending your own homeland from foreigners, why would you sell it to somebody? You won't do that. You're fighting for your own self-determination and freedom, right? So that is an important point we have to consider. Now let's go back to the map and understand what has happened in the recent past. So reports have emerged. So we're looking at this region. Okay, let's zoom in now. So the Arakan army seems to have taken over Tiknaf, which is a city in this region, which is a Bangladeshi city, and other areas. They seem to have established control over this region. And as you can see, that kind of cuts off the St. Martin's Island from Bangladesh if the situation persists. Okay, so that's an important and interesting development that's happened over here. That is a setback for the Mohammed Yunus regime. There is a setback for Bangladesh. Uh, the situation could be fluid. It may have changed, perhaps. Maybe they may have taken over more territory, maybe less territory. One also hears that there are ships from Pakistan that are going towards Bangladesh, which is with large quantities of arms and ammunition to bolster the Bangladeshi defense forces, military forces, ability to fight off the Arakan army, and so on. So the situation is kind of complex right now. But reports did come out that the Arakan army took over that small part of Bangladesh. And maybe if the Bangladeshi government isn't able to control the situation, then things could spread, and the Arakan army's control over Bangladesh territory could expand. Right now, could India be behind this? Is the question that's being asked. Could China be behind this? What is going on? The Arakan army was pro-China, wasn't it? Um, could India and China be doing a joint venture over here? That's a question. So of late, we have seen that India and China are talking again. There has been some kind of a rapprochement of kinds of sorts between India and China. Like Mugdal C. mentioned, Mr. Ajit Doval was recently in Beijing, which is a highly unprecedented step. So a lot is happening, seems to be happening behind the scenes between India and China. And when it comes to the country of Myanmar, we are witnessing large scale foreign interference in Myanmar, Western interference. And that is something that's bad for India as well as for China. So it makes sense, perhaps. I mean, logically, it makes sense for India and China to cooperate in this, in stabilizing this region and ensuring that pro-West elements don't take control of this region of Burma, like what's happened in Bangladesh. We don't want that to happen in Burma. So it's possible that India and China may be cooperating in this. I don't think we are spectators anymore. Shubhankar says, do you think it's our doing, or do you think we just spectators again? I don't think India is a spectator in this region. Uh, we know this. See, the Bangladesh situation, the Burma situation, and the Manipur situation are interconnected, interrelated. These are not separate issues. It's all part of the overall same geopolitical game, right? The Americans have this Project K, that they want to create an artificial Christian cookie nation out of parts of Burma, Bangladesh, and Myanmar. And this was first stated over a year ago by then Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina, which was an incredible claim she made. But we see that happening in real time now. So she was absolutely right. It's not some conspiracy theory when the sitting prime minister of a country makes that claim, and then we see it actually happening. So it makes sense for India and China to cooperate here. I don't think India is a spectator anymore right now. It may have taken the government some time to take action. The government has been completely silent on Manipur. The prime minister doesn't say a word. Okay, whatever. But hopefully things are moving in the right direction. Uh, so it looks like India and China could be cooperating in this matter, and maybe the Arakan army is pro India and pro China, perhaps, and they are Buddhists. So culturally and civilizationally, they have no issue with India, unlike the Rohingyas, or unlike the modern day nation of Bangladesh. Culturally, civilizationally, they are antagonistic to us, aren't they? The Arakanis, the Buddhists, they have no such issues with India. So yeah, this is a situation that's developing right now. It's an ongoing situation. So let's keep an eye on this, and let's see how it evolves. Maybe by next week. So I'll keep an eye on this, and we'll discuss this further. Is there any other part of the question that I have missed over here? Yeah, so the main point is that I don't think the US is funding the Arakan army. The US has been funding most likely the Rohingyas and the Cookies, not the Buddhists. See, the US, it usually funds organizations and groups that have an allegiance or with an Abrahamic religion. It's very rare for them to fund organizations with allegiances to dharmic religions. All right. So I don't think the US is involved in this. The Chinese have no issues with dharmic religions. So there you have it.